YouTube, welcome back. Sam here with Too Many Hobbies. Today we're doing a bat house. All you're going to really need for this is some kind of screen material. That is gutter guard that I already had, and then 2 boards, cedar fence boards. I ended up buying 3, and that's enough to make 2 of these. A buddy of mine wanted one, so I'm going to make one for him and one for me. I'm going through all the cuts here now, and then we'll start getting into the build, and I will give you a cut list and plans at the end of this. So we have some of our board lays out here. I had to put everything on and just give a test fit to mark out what these final lengths are going to be on these odd sizes. Most of this is going to be 11-inch long boards. So these boards are 5.5 inches wide, 5/8 inch thick, and then that's going to be 11 inches across, and then it's going to be 11.25 inches tall when it's all said and done. And that's just because those boards being 5 and they're actually 5 5/8, so then that makes it 11.25. So we're going to just be dry fitting this stuff to get these last measurements here, and then I'm using this gutter guard stuff that I already had. Any kind of screen type material, just something that that bat is able to grab onto, to hold onto. If you have screen material from when you replaced a window or something like that, or you could even use cut lines and grooves across the boards here, but I had this, so that's what we're going to use. So then once you get that cut out, we're going to staple this down. I didn't have short enough pneumatic nails, or pneumatic staples rather, to use my air nailer, so I'm just going to use this hammer stapler. If you don't have one of those, just regular stapler, or you could even use nails and just go almost all the way down and then just hammer them over, whatever you got to do to get that stuff down. Then we're going to mark out on these vertical boards at 2.5 inches, and that'll put that board in the center. So you could just make this thing to where you just had just the single area for the bat to go onto, but that's going to be too wide. Most of the stuff that, if you read about it, they want a smaller, more narrow area, and then that's also going to keep them warm. That's also going to protect them from birds or something like that being able to fly in and get them. So right now we're just measuring out where we're going to put these lines at, and then we're also going to mark on the back side, so when we're using pneumatic nailer, we know where that's going to be, so we're not just guessing, because these boards being only 5/8 inch thick, you don't really have that big of an area to shoot into. So make sure you're measuring out on both sides where you know where you're going. So the outside stapled down on the one side to hold everything together. The board I'm putting in now is 9 3/4 inches wide. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the other piece that we'd cut off from the front, and we cut that down to where we're using that. And it's not going to go all the way up to the very top, but it's not going to really matter. And we're just using this wasted board that wouldn't have been used for anything else. So you'll see it going in here in a second. Right now, like I said, measuring out on the outside to where we know where to put these nails in, since this board is only 5/8 inch thick. So you can see this thing starting to take shape. And then here's this other board that I was talking about, and it's got the material that's going to be stapled on it as well. And again, just going around it with the hammer stapler, and then once it's on there, it makes it easier to cut that excess mesh off of there. see this dual chamber thing that I was talking about. If you didn't have that board in the middle, that thing's going to be too wide, and animals that eat bats are going to be able to get in there and get to them. So you could probably almost get by with putting 3 in here, but I think 2 is going to be sufficient. So we're going to finish stapling this thing together. We're nailing it together there, and now you can really see this thing starting to take shape. And these boards are going to go on the top. And again, some of these boards here, that one in the front was just an excess piece that was cut off. And I cut that front edge there, you can see, also at a 30-degree angle. So, and then just keep that other piece there. And like I said, if you bought 3 of these boards, it's going to be enough for 2. So just keep those other boards that you're cutting off from that, and you can use it on the next one there. So now what we'll do is we'll take the dog ear piece off of that board that we had, and we'll screw it onto the back, or nail it onto the back rather, and then that'll be a nice place to mount this to the tree. And that's a leftover piece from the second board, and you can see the little scraps. But when you're mounting this, I would recommend mounting it to the east side of a tree, you know, the side where the sun rises. So what that does is, it's probably gonna, most of the time your wind comes from the northwest or west, so being on the east side of the tree, that's kind of putting them out of the weather a little bit more. So there you have it, and then let's start talking about these plants. Alright, so here we are in our free version of SketchUp, and we're going to start this thing out here. Now, most of the measurements here, when you're using this measuring tape device, you can input manually in that bottom right area. You can see that as I'm changing those things there. So we're going to do the base here and go through, and if people are interested in more in-depth video of this basic usage of the free version of the SketchUp, put down a comment in the bottom or something, and you know, let me know what you want me to draw up, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal. We'll see what we can get into on that. So you can see how this thing's just taking shape. Again, this is super nice to be able to draw out your angles and all that stuff on, which is what I'm doing right there. And then you'll see at the end here, you can screenshot this, and I have both a cut list and a color version of the drawing there, to where you can see what all parts go where. So we'll look at that at the end. See how the drawing's turning out, and what I would say is watch the video, come to the end, print out your drawings, and it should only take you, with the cut list and everything there, maybe 20 minutes or so to do all this if you have everything laid out. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe, and come back for the next video. Thanks.